Okay, so this, I guess in a way, it's kind of like my setup that I'm trying to give, but I'm not too sure. Hi, my name is Hector, and I gave up social media, well, for a month, and I kind of gave it up. Let me explain. So yeah, I gave up social media, but I technically only gave up Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And the reason why only those three, well, because honestly, I feel like those three social media platforms are the most common and also the ones that allow you to connect more with other people's lives. I just needed to let that go for just a little bit and for a purpose. And well, that purpose was going into the new year. I felt great. I felt in a place very well. I felt great emotionally and physically, but I would be lying if I said that it wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, especially emotionally. But I felt so close. Like, I felt very, very close to this specific point of, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, I can't explain it, but it was a point where I wanted to be emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And even though I was satisfied with what I had achieved going into this new year, it wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but I felt very, very near. In order to do that, I decided to block out the noise, block out the distractions, and the most common distraction is social media. And don't get me wrong, social media is great. It has the ability to bring together people. It's a great invention, but if not handled properly, I think it does become a distraction to the point where you forget to kind of give yourself some time. Distractions are good. I'm not here to bash on distractions. The world is already crazy and can feel a lot. So distractions help us in a way to kind of ease the frustration, but there are certain distractions that have to be, I guess, taken care of. Like watching a movie is a good distraction. Reading a book is a good distraction. But when it comes to this, that's when it gets a little bit tricky, because you have to be able to control it. And by all means, I am not, I guess, a perfect example, because I indulge in social media a lot of the time. Before I go to sleep, sometimes I check up TikTok, which is one of the platforms that I didn't let go of, solely because I feel like TikTok speaks to me in a very spiritual way, because that For You page, it be talking. Social media has to be handled very, very, very carefully, just because sooner or later you do see yourself spending a lot of time on it, and you don't necessarily give yourself time. I guess you need to give yourself time because it's important. It's a big importance, and that's something that I've learned a lot recently. And I mean, like I said, and I'm not here to bash on it, just because of social media I can see what my grandma's doing in El Salvador. Because of social media I could see what my old friends from high school are doing. It's a great way of, it's a great form of connection. It's just that, if, like I said, if not handled properly, you can't see yourself getting lost in it. I don't know about you guys, but it's already easy to get lost in this world, and I don't know if this is making sense. I hope it does. I hope it does. But enough about social media. I'm not a social media expert. I'm just a 22-year-old who just happens to use it. I don't study it. I don't do any of that. But what I can tell you about is, what did I learn? What effects did I feel? How did I feel? How did I do it? Was it worth it? Is it worth it? That's the same question. I don't know why I just repeated that. But I can only give you my perspective. And what my perspective is, nothing but positive stuff. Literally nothing but positive stuff. Like, it was honestly a little challenging in the beginning, just because I'm so used to it, like I already mentioned, it's something that we're used to. We just unknowingly check it, at the most randomest times ever. For me, it wasn't as difficult because last year I did do it a little bit. The most I went was for like 4 days, but because of those little 4 days that I did every month, the full month was a little bit more easier. Another thing was, I learned a lot about time. I noticed that there is actually enough time to do everything that you want. Little minutes add up at the end of the day. And, once I cut that off, because I was spending, let's say, roughly 3 hours a day, which doesn't seem like a lot to many people, but to me it was. I noticed that I would be able to do the things that I always said I didn't have time for. In regards to time, it allowed me to give attention to the things that I loved. It allowed me to always be in the moment. Especially when I went out to eat with my mom or my cousins or my friends, I would always have a conversation, and focus on the conversation, instead of let me just distract myself with this. So yes, it was challenging. I learned a lot about time. It allowed me to be present in the moment, and the most important part, it allowed me to get to where I wanted. Like I said in the beginning of the year, even though I was very proud of what I was able to accomplish, I didn't feel like I had achieved what I wanted to achieve. And mentally, spiritually, in the inside. And I felt very close, and if I just focused on myself for just a month, eliminated the distractions and just focused on myself, I would be able to do it. And I'm here to say that I did. I am, that's not saying that I was unhappy, but I'm better, I'm happier, I'm more excited. So yeah, that was my perspective, my experience in just shutting out the noise of what social media is. Like I said, it's probably not a big deal for everybody. You're probably watching this and like, dude, it's just social media, it's not that hard. You're probably right. I probably am making a big deal out of this whole thing. I don't know, I told myself that once I was done, I was gonna make this for myself. Who knows if I'm even gonna post this. If you guys are watching it, then I did it. Because honestly, just the thought of having someone else see it kind of makes me nervous and scary. Or it makes me feel scared, and I don't know. But the fact that it is scary means that I have to do it. So more likely I'm gonna do it, but I would 100% do it again. And maybe you should, maybe a day or two, and you'll be surprised at what you can learn, especially when you're put in an environment that you're not comfortable with. You start thinking differently and you start feeling differently. And in those situations, you tend to, find another side of yourself that you didn't know existed. What do I know? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, that's my little story, I guess.
All the old containers that I fill with my past. You can find them on the second floor under my bed.